Okay, hello everyone. It's a pleasure to see all of you here today. My name is Hillary Molina. I'm the Director of Alumni Relations, and I am so proud to bring to you today from the Alumni Association, How to Rock Your LinkedIn Profile with Starshine Roshell. And we are in for an absolute treat. I got to see what she's sharing ahead of time. I've learned so much already, and I know all of you will find this information valuable. For most of you, you know that LinkedIn is a very powerful social media platform with over 7 million members in 200 countries, and it's free to use. And Starshine worked with us at Fielding. We're so sad to see her go, but she went over to LinkedIn. So she was at Fielding for 4 years, and she was the Associate Director of Media and Communications. She wrote, edited, and published Focus Magazine. She managed our social media, and she helped produce our major events. She's also an alum of our Media Psychology Certificate program. Woo-hoo. And Starshine is a journalist and now produces educational content for LinkedIn, working with subject matter experts from all over the world to create video courses that help LinkedIn members achieve their professional goals. And last but not least, she was my office mate for the 4 years. So I miss having her around. It's such a pleasure to have her back. So without further ado, Starshine, thank you so much for being here. The virtual floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen now so you guys can see. Can you see my slide deck?
Yes.
Okay, good. So thanks for having me here, you guys. I'm so excited to be here to help you rock your profile. This is a program that we run at LinkedIn to help educate folks on how to build a profile that tells your professional story and helps you connect to opportunity on LinkedIn. I see a lot of familiar faces on this call. It makes me really happy. I miss you guys. For those of you I haven't met, as Hillary said, I'm Starshine Roshell, and I am a proud Fielding alum of both the staff and the students. And now I'm a content producer and a writing instructor at LinkedIn Learning, which is the education arm of LinkedIn. So I'm going to start us off today with a poll, if you don't mind. So Hillary's going to launch a poll for me that gives you a few options. And I'd like to know from you what you hope to get out of LinkedIn. So you know, you came to this hoping to learn something today. You're on LinkedIn, or you want to be on LinkedIn. Why are you on LinkedIn? How do you think it could ideally serve you? And I've given you a few options. You can choose as many as are relevant to you. All right, looks like the numbers are coming in. I'll give you a couple more seconds to make your mark there. All right, and 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, the poll is ending, and I'm going to share the results. So it looks like the majority of people want to build their professional brand on LinkedIn, which is great. That's great. A lot of you also want to network in your industry. It looks like across the board, except for nobody seems to be hiring. That's fine. I figured that'd probably be the lowest one. But you can do all of those things on LinkedIn. But this just kind of helps me know what we're working with today and what people's goals are so that I can kind of try to tailor it as we're going through. So before we dive in, I want to give you an idea of how we're going to be using our time today and what you can expect from this session. So we're going to quickly go over, like, what is LinkedIn's deal? Here, I'll close this poll. You know, why LinkedIn in the first place? How to build an all-star profile that tells your professional and academic story. Things that you can do beyond your profile to build thought leadership and establish your brand, as you showed you were interested in doing. And then I'm going to give you some free resources where you can learn more and keep learning if you like. So after that, I'm going to take questions from you all. And then I have a super quick survey that I'd love for you to fill out just to tell us if you thought this hour was useful to you, if you wouldn't mind. So let's start with an intro to LinkedIn. So at LinkedIn, the idea is that we believe professionals don't get anywhere alone. It takes a community of people to help us all achieve our success. And I know that the Fielding family is really tight knit and understands that concept of reaching out for help from your community and offering help to those within your community, because that's what makes a community, right? Is the give and take. And our mission at LinkedIn is we connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. And that's what we do. We come to work with that goal in mind every day. My dogs are barking, of course, because that's life now. And we feel really good about doing that every day. We feel like we're doing a pretty good job of that. And the way that we do that is by connecting our members to opportunity. That's our value proposition. That's what we offer. But opportunity, of course, means different things to different people, depending what you're looking for, right? As we just showed, some of you are looking to get a job. Some of you want to build your professional identity or your brand. Some people come because they want to learn a skill. I recently actually used the LinkedIn platform to find and connect with other people who are passionate, like I am, about not a vocation, but an avocation. I'm really passionate about stopping the spread of misinformation and disinformation online. It's something that I've become really involved in since January 6th, if you could imagine. And I found a group on LinkedIn that was interested in this subject as well. And I joined it. And now we share resources with each other every week. And I've been to webinars and I've joined online discussions that they've recommended. And that's an opportunity that I value, that's made me feel more productive and successful toward my goals. And then just this week, one of the people in that group reached out to me about a job opportunity that he was interested in having at a place where I was able to connect him to someone that I knew there. So that's opportunity in action. That's what LinkedIn is all about. So I'm going to give you a quick glance at the LinkedIn network, or what we call the economic graph. I think it's a silly, long way to say it's really our network. And that is just so that you understand the numbers that we're dealing with on LinkedIn, so that you can understand when we say connect with opportunity, this is what we're talking about. So for starters, LinkedIn's professional community has over 756 members on our platform in more than 200 countries and territories. Okay, there's more than 57 million companies who have pages on LinkedIn. There are more than 14 million open jobs posted on LinkedIn. I don't know how many of you know you can apply for jobs right on LinkedIn. You can search for jobs that you're interested in and you can actually apply right on LinkedIn. There are more than 38,000 skills featured on the platform, and we'll talk about that, what that means today. And there are over 120,000 universities, including Fielding. Fielding has a page on LinkedIn, and it has a group, which I encourage you to join. And then finally, there's more than 443 billion feed updates viewed on average each year. That means that the news feed is refreshed and viewed by eyeballs an average of 443 billion times a year, which hurts my brain. But here's a statistic that you might actually care more about. 3 people are hired every minute on LinkedIn. So there's a lot going on there, right? And job seekers use it to connect with and learn about companies and to network with colleagues who are hiring or know people who are hiring and that kind of thing. So now that you have a better idea of the power of LinkedIn, I want to shift gears and shine the spotlight back on you, our users. And the way I'm going to do that is I want to show you a really short video. Can you see a blue screen?
Yes.
Perfect.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
So that's just an idea of what all the things that you can do on your profile and how it might make a difference in getting someone's attention and kind of building your brand. So now I want to talk about your profile, which is what you came here to learn about. So your LinkedIn profile is a digital portfolio that tells your professional story. And I don't want you to think of it as a resume. I want you to think of it more as a dynamic showcase that's engaging, that's visual, and highlights your experience and your skills and your proudest achievements, all of which help you build your digital brand. And the key thing to remember about your profile is there's no such thing as a perfect LinkedIn profile. You're not aiming for gold stars here, right? The best plan is to start with the basics and then add details as you like. I think you're going to find that polishing it up is actually a lot easier than you think, and small updates can lead to big opportunities. So I'm just going to give you some best practice recommendations today to strengthen key parts of your profile. If you have a LinkedIn profile, I really encourage you to open it up on your screen right now as we talk through the section so you can see for yourself the features that I'm mentioning, and even you might put some advice immediately into action. So I also want to point out, I know privacy is an issue for some people, and it should be. We all are concerned about privacy, especially in this day and age. And LinkedIn's really good about letting you control who sees what. So just know that you get to decide what changes you make are published to the world or visible to your network as we go, okay? So the first thing we're going to talk about is your photo. Your photo is the most important part of your profile. It just is. We don't like to think about that, but it really is. And the reason it is because we find that members who have a photo, as opposed to the kind of silhouette of a faceless person that you get if you don't upload a photo, which some of you may be looking at on your profiles right now. If you don't have a photo, if you do have a photo, you get 9 times more connection requests on average, people who want to connect with you. 21 times more people are going to view your profile, and you tend to get 36 times more messages from people than if you don't. People just want to know that you're a real human being. They want to, it's not how good your photo is. It's just like, is that a real person or is this like a bot? They just want to know that they're connecting with someone real. And so, select a profile photo that really represents you. It doesn't have to be a professional headshot at all. It just has to show your professional community who you are. It can even be a selfie. If you do snap one on your own, just make sure it's high resolution and that the lighting's good, and that it only features you. You don't want to like crop someone's arm out of it that's hugging you or something like that. You definitely want to show your face. Don't be sort of artsy and esoteric, like coming from the back or something. You want to be recognizable if you meet someone in person, like at a coffee shop or something. And another very cool thing that I didn't realize until recently is that LinkedIn actually has photo filters that you can use to polish your photo up, just like Instagram and other social platforms do. You just click your photo, and then you click the pencil icon. Anywhere on your profile you see a pencil icon, it just means you can edit that thing. So if you edit your photo, you can add filters, you can adjust brightness, you can mess with the saturation, you can play all around and make it look cool and interesting. And I can show you that in the Q&A if you're interested. So now I'm going to show you another fun tool that I'm excited about. But first, Hillary's going to launch another poll, and it's a short one. I'd like you to answer it, please. My question to you is not this one. Hold on here. This one. Do people ever mispronounce your name? All right. And most of us said yes. People do mispronounce our names. I'd say about 2/3 of us said yes. Unfortunately, people do mispronounce our names. Well, guess what, guys? I feel you. As someone with a weird name, I feel you. And our engineers feel you. And they came up with a really easy way for you to record your name and attach it to your profile. which I think is amazing. So anyone who visits your profile can simply click the little speaker icon next to your photo and hear you speak your name the way you want it pronounced, and everyone wins. Because it's not just, I mean, it's not just you, it's everyone who says a name incorrectly is mortified. It's just, it's awkward and embarrassing for everyone. So I think this is a great idea. And you can record it only on the LinkedIn app. So you need to do it on your phone. You can't use the desktop version. If you download the LinkedIn app, which is totally free, you just click on the edit pencil at the top of your profile, click another edit pencil next to your name pronunciation, and you just say your name. You have up to 10 seconds to do it, which is long enough to say pretty much any name. And you want to do it when it's quiet in your home, obviously. Super easy. Another fun tip, if you look up to the right of your profile, there's a link that says edit public profile and URL. If you click that, you can create a vanity URL, which is a custom website address that you can share on applications or business cards that will send folks right to your profile. And it looks cool with your name or some set of words that you choose, rather than like a long, ugly string of random characters. Does that make sense? Like my LinkedIn URL is linkedin.com/in/starshine-Roshell instead of like 695x17, you know, like a million characters. So that's kind of just a cool pro tip. Okay, next we're going to talk about industry. So adding your industry is really important. It's actually often how others will find you and add you to their professional network. They'll do a search by industry, like I want to add anyone in the education industry or whatever. And we actually find that members with industry information are discovered up to 38 times more in recruiter searches. So if you're a recruiter looking to hire, you're definitely going to search by industry, right? It's simple. Also, click the pencil at the top of your profile where your profile photo and name are, and scroll down to edit or add your industry. Also helpful to add your location in the same place, especially if you're starting over somewhere new, which a lot of people are doing after the pandemic. So next is a cool tool that was made especially for folks who are looking for work. And we're going to watch a video about it first.
If there's any way that I can help alleviate some of that burden off of your shoulders, that's what I want to do today.
You have other people behind you supporting you. You have other people who understand where you're coming from and where you're trying to go.
Don't try to run the mile in one giant bound, one foot in front of the other.
What I found that I think is so heartening is that I think we're seeing a lot of humanity come out of this moment.
Oops. So as you see, the tool I'm talking about is an open to work frame that was created that you can add to your profile photo. And it was created to make you stand out to connections or recruiters if you're looking for a new opportunity. Obviously, you don't want to use it if you're not looking for a new opportunity, but more than 30 million people have taken advantage of it already, which is really cool. And we've seen that people who add it to their profile are 40% more likely to be contacted by recruiters, which is really cool. So to add it, there's a picture here. You go to the open to button that you see underneath your photo. There should be a button that says open to, and you select open to finding a new job. And you'll have the opportunity to specify the job title you're searching for, pinpoint locations that you're interested in, and even select the kind of job you want, full-time, remote, etc. And you can also get specific about your start date so that people know how quickly you want to land your next opportunity if you want. And what's really cool is there are two ways to share this with your community. You can either share with all LinkedIn members, which means you will automatically have that green hashtag open to work stripe added to your photo, so others can instantly see that you're open to new opportunities. Or you can select to share it with recruiters only, and that will privately share only to people who are identified as recruiters, and it won't add that green photo stripe to your profile photo. So totally up to you. Okay, next we're going to talk about summary. And summary is sort of, we consider this like your elevator pitch, right? This is the part of your profile that says about. It's a little written description that you can kind of give people your elevator pitch. What's your deal? We find that if you add a summary of 40 words or more, it makes your profile more likely to turn up in a future employer's search. And this should be an introduction to you, as well as highlight your accomplishments and aspirations. You want to keep it short and sweet. No need to list all your career accomplishments here. You have an experience section below here to do that. This is really a place to highlight your unique talents and how you want to contribute to the world. We encourage you to be authentic in this space. Skip the jargon. Yes, LinkedIn is the more like professional of the social media platforms, but it's still social media. You don't want to use a lot of academic jargon and speak in the way that you would if you were writing a research paper or something like that. You want to stick to a few short paragraphs. Actually, only the first 220 characters of the about section show up on the desktop before people have to click a button to read the rest. And only 90 characters show up on mobile. So don't waste words. Mine's really, really short. I'll show it to you later if you want. It's actually just like 2 lines and you don't even have to click a button. You can see the whole thing right there. Pro tip, make sure your summary includes keywords and skills featured in desirable job descriptions in your field. And then it's more likely to catch eyes. Okay, then we're going to talk about my favorite spot on the whole profile, and that's the featured section. So this is kind of new. The featured section lets you showcase the work that you're most proud of right up at the top of your profile. So the featured section allows you to include rich media. And what that means is you can share links to articles, you can share images, you can share documents, you can share PowerPoint if you want. You can share all kinds of things right up there that you've worked on that you're like, okay, I spent a lot of time and energy on, I'm really proud of this thing. And I wish I had a way to like put it up at the top. This is that thing. So you can also pin articles that you've authored or posts that you've shared on LinkedIn. So you can show off what you think and talk and care about and the issues that you interact with. I'll show you mine. It has the thing I was telling you about, the misinformation stuff I've been writing about. Not a lot of people know that you can also add rich media like this, photos and links and documents, to your experience section and your education sections to show off specific projects there. So this is really a cool idea for fielding. If I were you guys, I would add some, if you have an amazing project that you've been working on at fielding, maybe your dissertation, I don't know what you want to share, but if you've been involved in an event or, your poster or something like that, you could actually put that right up on your education section of your profile. It's super easy to do. And again, I can walk you through that in the Q&A if you like. So I would take advantage of that. I just think it's a good idea for people, for students to do that. And you can put it again in your experience or education section. So let's talk about the experience section now. This is really the bread and butter of your profile, right? Experience. This is what you think of when you think of LinkedIn. You think of like, this is what you're looking at, is like sort of an online resume. But LinkedIn's different from a resume because it really lets you go into detail. It lets you upload images. You see these people have uploaded rich media to their experience section here, just as I was telling you about. So this is your opportunity to tell your professional story and talk about your accomplishments within each of the roles that you've had. And we recommend you write these in short paragraph form rather than bullet points. Again, this is not a resume. Tell us the story. Tell us your professional story. And feel free to give a brief introduction to the organization if people aren't familiar with it. If it's a place that a lot of people haven't heard of, that's a good place to do that. Also remember that it's always great to talk about what you did in your role, which we're most inclined to do, but it's even better to showcase the impact you had, right? The results that you delivered and the change that you created in that position. Highly recommend that you put that in there somewhere. And then lastly, let's round out your profile with some volunteer experience. And this is just showing you some pieces of your experience section. There's your description. So in terms of volunteer experience, I think most people don't realize this, but half of all hiring managers say they view volunteer experience as the equivalent to formal work experience. It's important. We kind of dismiss it, and it's sort of at the bottom of your profile and it can be easily forgotten, but adding volunteer experience is a great way to round out your professional identity, build your brand, and flesh out like who you are as a human being, right? Beyond just your professional role, or even beyond your academic role sometimes. You know, do make sure that you give a quick, like 1 to 2 sentence description of what you do in each role, not just your title. And then I promised you that I'd talk about skills, and we're finally here. So skills is a way for you to showcase what you're great at. So if you add at least 5 or more skills, you can get up to 17 times more profile views, which is kind of cool. And professionals search for key skills across LinkedIn. So it's another great way to be found by your network. I told you how many skills there were on LinkedIn. There's thousands and thousands. And once you add them, your connections can endorse you for those skills. So if you say, you know, I'm skilled in accounting, someone, as is shown here, can come on and say, oh yeah, she is, I've seen her, she's great at accounting, and they can check that you're good at that, and then it racks up and it gives some credibility to your profile in that way. And then you are in full control of your skills. So you choose what order they're displayed in, and when people endorse you for a skill, you can choose whether to display that endorsement or not if you don't like it. So say someone endorses you for a skill that you used to do, but you're trying to kind of get away from that and be known for something different, you don't have to accept that endorsement. It doesn't give them a notification that you denied it or something. You can just choose not to display that on your profile. So there's one last piece I want to tell you about, and one last poll. Hillary, can you launch the final poll? Right, so when you're choosing a hotel or a restaurant, which of the following is most valuable in helping you make your decision? A paid ad, recommendations from other customers, or a description written by the owner? Which one's most helpful to you? I guess that was a little too easy. So we have 98% of people said recommendations from other customers are most helpful when you're making a decision. Yeah, I agree. That was where I was hoping you'd go with that. We trust other people's reviews, right? That's why recommendations are a great way for you to build professional credibility. If you don't already have them, I would highly recommend that you request a recommendation from a colleague or a manager or a partner, etc. You can just go to the person's profile and click on the More button at the top, and then scroll down and select Request Recommendation. You can also make recommendations to them from that same button. Here's a couple things to keep in mind when you're requesting a recommendation. You want to customize your request. So I'm going to show you here how to do this, because I want to make sure that you know how to do this. This is really important. Okay, so if I want to get a recommendation from someone, I click on More. Nope, that's not it. I'm going to go down to my recommendation section. And I can click ask for a recommendation. You can see here I have one from President Rogers and from Akasha. Thank you so much to both of them. Very nice. And I can ask for a recommendation. And then say that I want to ask Hillary Molina for a recommendation. It asked me to select my relationship with Hillary. Well, I'm going to say, I worked with Hillary in the same group. We were in the same department, okay? My position at the time was associate director at Fielding. So it gives me this automatic fill. It says, hi, Hillary, could you write me a recommendation? And can you guys see that?
Yes.
Thank you. And I could just click send and it would just go to her. But we really recommend that you customize it, right? What I would do is I would just delete this and say like, hey, Hillary, I'm working on getting some more recommendations for my LinkedIn profile. It would be really helpful to me if you could write me a short recommendation of just a few sentences. And it's really great if you tell that person what you want to be recommended for specifically. Is it a project? Is it an initiative that you led? Hillary and I worked in the same office, literally in the same room for 3 to 4 years. I might want her to talk about how I get along with other people, or a project that we worked on together, or whether I'm organized or not, or something like that. I might look at what my other recommendations are lacking in terms of something that I would like to be known for that no one else is mentioning. And I could say, maybe you could speak to this piece. Definitely choose people you've worked with closely and who can provide specific examples of how your strengths, skills, and experience show up. Don't just pick someone that likes you. It should be someone you've worked with. And then include people that you've managed and been managed by, include peers, include all levels around there, right? Okay, so that's how you do that. And then also, if I want to send a recommendation to Hillary, I can do that as well. I go to hers and then I click more. And I can request a recommendation from her here, or I can give one. And then once you send someone a recommendation, they can either accept it or they can say, thanks. And again, it doesn't tell you so-and-so doesn't want your recommendation. It gives you control as to whether, if someone sends you one and you didn't ask for it, you might be like, I don't really want that. You don't have to put it up. Sometimes I'll just send one to someone to be nice, or because I was thinking of them, and I just tell them right out, look, you don't have to post this. I was thinking of you and I thought maybe you might appreciate this. So that's how you do recommendations. It's good to have a few, build them up as you go. And that's how to rock your profile, basically. But LinkedIn has other ways for you to connect with opportunity as well. So I want to make sure you know how to do those as well. So we're going to go into some other areas here. So beyond your profile, the LinkedIn newsfeed is a place where you can share your insights, share your expertise and opinions with your professional community. Be out there, have a voice, get involved in conversations in your industry. And there are 2 great ways to share your professional perspective on LinkedIn. The first one is through quick status updates. And the second one is to explore a topic in more detail through publishing. So what's the difference between these 2? Well, sharing updates is a way for you to quickly share your knowledge, your perspective, and insight on what you care about through a post on the newsfeed, much like you would on any other social platform, right? A check-in, a thought, a photo, or a link and a comment. And then publishing content is a way for you to explore a topic by writing a long form post and sharing it as an article. So let's look at both really quickly. So the way you share a status update is by going to your homepage, and you'll see the share box at the top when you sign into LinkedIn. And it's really easy. You just start talking. It says, what do you want to talk about? And you just start writing and then post. You click post. Real easy. You can add photos. You can add a video link, just much as you would on really any other social media platform. But there are a few things that help your status update stand out from the crowd. So let's go over those. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure to share your authentic voice. Stay on brand, but be real, right? Like I said before, This is social media. Don't speak as you would in a formal setting or even in a meeting. Speak as you would to another human being over coffee. Talk like a human, right? That's important in these posts. Post frequently to create more opportunities for you and your content to be discovered, and show up consistently so that people make a habit of your content. Pro tip, you can add a reminder to your calendar to post weekly if you forget to do that. 3, you want to start a conversation or share your point of view. Post something quick and snappy that engages your community. Pose a question, provide your perspective on current events, or give an insider point of view. The more people engage with the post, the more it gets shared. When you include a photo or videos, it really helps your post stand out. And posts that have that get more comments and more likes. And then the LinkedIn algorithm is such that posts with more comments and likes get shared and get shown to more eyeballs. It's just the way most social media works. And then think about reciprocity when you're posting as well. Invite people to participate in your conversations by tagging them with the little @ symbol. So if you type @ and then you start to type someone's name that you're connected with, their name will come up and you can tag them and they'll get notified that they were mentioned in a post, and then they can come to that post and comment on it or like it or share it or interact with it in some way. And again, that drives views. And then the next thing is publishing on LinkedIn. You know, Monique Snowden is really great at this. I know she's just left fielding, but she was like a master at publishing on LinkedIn, still is a master, I'm sure. Publishing is a great way to explore topics that matter to you and share your expertise and insights with your professional community. Monique did this always she would write an article about something within her area of expertise, and she'd use hashtags to draw people's attention to that subject, and it would get shared and people would come on and comment. And then the more it gets liked and shared and commented, the more it gets shown, and it would be like this spiral thing. And she, like, recently, one of her articles just went viral. So remember, when you publish content, it becomes part of your profile. It gets shared with everyone in your network, comes up on their feed as they're scrolling, and it has the potential to reach hundreds of millions of people. So once you've published content, people can follow you if they like it to stay on top of what you say and post on LinkedIn. They're like, oh, that was an interesting article. I'm going to follow this person. And publishing content on LinkedIn is a really great way to establish thought leadership within the community of people who matter to you, like Monique did. So how does publishing work exactly? Well, it's very similar to sharing status updates. You just can get started right on your homepage. You go to start a post and you just click write article down at on the right-hand corner of that. It's really easy. If you've ever done a blog post or something like that, it's identical to that. You just start typing. You can change fonts. You can add photos and videos right in the middle of your post. You can you can use headlines and things like that, and then just click post and you've created an article. It's really, really easy. Some best practices for publishing content. Create a headline that captures attention. And I know that's easier said than done, but I always say, ask yourself if you would click on that headline if you're scrolling through your social media on your busy day. Is it a headline that would stop you and interest you? If not, keep working on it. Second, again, include a photo if you want to stand out, not just at the top of your article, but include photos within your article to kind of break up the chunks of text. Be authentic, use your real self voice, show up as yourself to these articles. You have a lot of experience and expertise, and people want to hear your views and your insights and your perspective, but you have to do it as a real human, not as a bot. Think about your audience. What would they benefit from reading and knowing? A lot of times we communicate what we want to say and not so much thinking about what people want to know. So that little shift in perspective can really help your article stand out. And then finally, article length matters. We find that the sweet spot for articles is about 600 to 1,000 words. The last piece I want to talk about is that LinkedIn can help you stay on top of the news and the content and the companies and professionals that matter to you and your industry. So if you have, say, a company that you're interested in, you want to work there, or you're researching them for a paper or something like that, it's a great idea to follow them. You just search for their page under companies, and you click follow. And then their news and their trends and their new product launches or whatever will appear in your LinkedIn newsfeed every time they post something like that. So let's talk about how to customize your LinkedIn experience through the newsfeed. One of the things I really like most about the company is that we give members full control over their feeds. You're empowered to access the content that matters the most to you. And you can manage your feed preferences by clicking on the 3 dots at the top right of any post that you see and selecting Improve My Feed. You can follow or unfollow people and companies. You can hide posts that aren't relevant to you by doing that same thing, clicking those 3 dots. And you can also report inappropriate content if you ever see it, and it'll flag that to our team, so we pull it out of the feed. And then finally, I just want to give you some free resources. So the first one is premium.linkedin.com. So LinkedIn membership is free, of course. It's always free, but there are some premium features that you typically have to pay extra for. And like LinkedIn Premium, for example, includes access to the more than 15,000 courses we have available on LinkedIn Learning, which is the arm that I work for. And that includes like business and software tools and leadership and time management skills and diversity and inclusion training and on and on and on. And it generally costs $29 a month, but at premium.linkedin.com, you can get a free month if that sounds useful to you, with access to those things. And then the second one is opportunity.linkedin.com. And this is a really cool site where we've unlocked courses to learn skills for the top 10 jobs that have been identified as having the greatest number of job openings in 2020. There are dozens and dozens of free courses available on this page. So I just thought it might be helpful to you. There's things like video interview tips and recovering from a layoff and writing a resume and how to stay motivated while job hunting, and just all kinds of resources that may be useful if you want to check them out. And then the last one is a course that is always free on LinkedIn Learning. And the course is called Learning LinkedIn. And it goes over a lot of the things that we've covered here today. So if I went too quickly, or you forgot something, or you want to go in depth on any particular piece of it, Hillary's going to put the link in the chat, and you should be able to access that for free if you want to go. I think it's less than 2 hours. I think it's like an hour and a half course, and you can pick and choose in the table of contents what particular piece you're interested in. You don't have to watch the whole thing. And that's it. The very last thing is that feedback is a gift. So if you wouldn't mind, we would love your feedback on this afternoon session if you have time and are willing. All you have to do is go to slido.com, and you'll see a hashtag on that website. You just enter the words fielding on LinkedIn, and no spaces. It's not sensitive to caps and lowercase. And then you just complete this short survey and let us know, what you found useful or not useful in today's discussion. And that's it. I just want to thank you so much for your time and open it up to any questions that you might have. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I see a lot of hands. Hillary, I forget, am I calling on people or are you calling on people? Well, Erica, I see your hand up. I can't see everything.
I was frozen.
No worries, no worries.
Sorry about that. Okay. All right. How about this? Everybody, if you'd like to, you can go ahead and turn your cameras on so we can see everybody's faces. And Erica, since you're ready to go, I'm going to ask to unmute and go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you, Starshine. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. My question is in regards to the skills section. I know that you said that have at least 5. Is there a point where it's too many? Is there an ideal number that you should have?
Yeah, that's a good question. Mine has too many. I just look at it's ridiculous. And I'm not saying I'm so skilled. I'm just saying I don't know how that happened. I think I have had so many different kinds of jobs that I just kept throwing them up there. And I was like, this really needs some editing. It just looks like a mess. I think there's a visual, I think it's just visual blight. You know, I would pick and choose. It depends what you want to focus on for your opportunities and your brand, right? You know, a lot of this stuff is just, who cares? It's not important to what I want to do or my role right now or my next role or whatever. So I would focus on, you know, 20, I think maybe more than 20 people start to just go like, that's a mess. That would be my advice. Yeah.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to our Carl. I'm gonna unmute you.
Thank you. Yeah, great. Hi, great, fantastic presentation. Thank you for all these tips and reminders on some things and brand new tips on others. I remember there was a functionality in LinkedIn at one point where you could actually have a copy of your resume in there, like a PDF copy of your resume.
Mm-hmm.
Is that somewhere still?
Yep.
I couldn't find it.
Yes, you can. You go to more. Do you see on my screen?
Let me get you back up again.
If you just go to more underneath your name.
Yep.
And then it should say build a resume.
Yep.
Yep, that's how.
Right. Okay.
Oh, I think I'm frozen.
All right.
So right here. Can you guys see my screen still?
Mhm.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, are we ready for the next one? Let's see, let's go to Sheila. Sheila, I'm gonna ask to unmute you.
Hi. I had a I had a question. A lot of us are like career change students. So when we're doing our about, do we just focus on, I find this challenging, do we just focus on where we are now, or do we include background information about the things that we've done in the past, or do we just save that information for the skill set, like when we're addressing skills?
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually hear that a lot because I think fewer people than we think have a straight line career, right? It comes up a lot that we all kind of jump around. You know, just me being a writer, I would try to weave that into your about, like the skills that you built in this particular thing. This is a great opportunity for you to tell people how those skills relate to what you're passionate about and doing now, to the brand that you're trying to really sell us now. You know, if you really can't think of how they relate, yeah, I would kind of leave it out. And you can even leave that experience out. They say to go back about 15 years on your experience. You don't have to include everything you've done since high school. That's not, it's, again, this isn't, it doesn't have to be exhaustive. You get to decide the story that you want to tell here. So in terms of, yeah, does that help at all? Does that answer your question? I'm not sure.
Okay, I think we'll take that as a yes. All right, next, Janine, I'm gonna go ahead and ask to unmute.
Hi, thank you. This has been really helpful. Thank you, Starshine.
Good.
Part of my life is I am an adjunct faculty member at several institutions, but at the same time, I'm a professional coach and OD person. And I was trying to find a way to put my adjunct teaching in one place so it wouldn't look like I had been in universities and displacing my current work experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so is there a way for me to put my teaching stuff in one place rather than as part of my experience chronologically?
It does go chronologically, but you can move things around. Like if things happen at the same time, you can move them around. Do you see this little, they call it a hamburger?
Right.
Yeah, you can move them around that way. So if you have something that's like your adjunct is current, but you want something on top of it, you can switch it around that way if that's helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how unusual this is, but I'm an adjunct at like 2 or 3 different universities, and
I have the same thing.
yeah, I wasn't sure how to, and I want to be known for both because I really care about both, but my life isn't chronological. I guess that's the issue.
Yeah, no, I think that is pretty common. So the issue is that you want it to show up how?
As I didn't know if I could do something in feature.
Why not? Like, so I'm going to show you guys my featured section because I said I would. Where'd it go? It's moving slowly. Okay. So in my featured section, I did an article. I posted an article on LinkedIn about misinformation. And this is a post that I made about misinformation. And this is a certificate that I got from Arizona State University recently about media literacy. And this is my book. And this is a course that I did on LinkedIn. So this is the featured section in action. But why not? That would be a really cool place to do it. I like that idea. And Sheila, that might be useful for you too.
Fantastic.
Where is the best place to put a video? If you have a video that has images of yourself and you want to talk about the focus of your work.
That can go here in featured. You can put it, it's really just, you can add media like this.
Okay.
And choose, just select it from your files, or if you have a link to video, you would do it that way. But you can also add it in your experience. So say it goes with your adjunct professorship. I would click the edit pencil right here.
Okay.
Sorry, my internet is really slow right now. And then you go down to the bottom and you click add media.
Oh, okay.
And it gives you the same choices.
Super.
Yep.
Thank you. That's really helpful.
Sure thing.
Great. Well, looks like we have 3 more questions. Michelle, so great to see you. I'm going to ask to unmute.
Hi, it's so good to see you. Thanks a lot for this because I have not done my LinkedIn at all. And I'm one of those people that have that straight line career path because I've been teaching for 35 years. However, when I looked at the industry, it had educational management and higher education. Well, I'm an elementary special education teacher. What?
In terms of industries, yeah, there's so many industries on there, but it doesn't have everything for sure. Yeah, you just have to pick the one that's closest. I mean, you could just pick education in general.
There is no education in general. It's just education management or higher education that I saw.
Interesting. So let's look.
That was my concern.
Right. So you looked on, so what did you look under?
I looked and it saw education management and then I saw higher education, but neither one of those fit. And there's no just education.
There's no just education or teaching. Is there grammar school? I mean,
nope.
Interesting. Yeah, I can look into it and get back to you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, next we'll go to Fernando. I'm going to go ahead and ask to unmute.
Hey, how you doing? I got a question for you. I'm looking at my LinkedIn and I see that you got features. I don't see features on mine, or the recommendations on mine. Is this something you have to be in Premiere or?
No. So you have to add a section. So do you see this part that says add section?
Yes.
Click on that.
Okay.
And you should have something that says featured there.
There. Okay.
Yeah, that's how you do it. I've already done it, so that's why it's there.
Okay, and the same thing for recommendations?
Yep. should be add section. Where would it be?
Yeah, 'cause I
Or
don't
it's
see.
not allowing me because I already have one, but it should be showing up for you.
Yeah, I see background skills, accomplishments, additional information, and support of the language. Request
So you'll have
recommendation.
to get a recommendation in order to add a recommendation, right? If you don't have one, it won't let you add that section.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And in the interest of time, we'll go ahead and take these last two between Reed and Lisa. Reed, we're going to start with you. I'm going to ask to unmute.
Hey, Starshine. So I've got recommendations. Some of them are kind of old.
Mm-hmm.
How old? How old? How fresh? How new should recommendations be?
That's a good question. I think it would matter to whether or not they're speaking to skills that are still relevant to what you're doing, right? You know, if someone's talking about your ability to scoop at the ice cream shop back in the day, you probably want to let that go. You know, things that talk about your character, your integrity, your ability to show up on time, that kind of stuff, trustworthiness, I think those are evergreen. But things that have to do with changing tools, I would refresh those. Does that make sense? Yeah. And again, it just speaks to the story that you're telling right now.
Great, thank you. And Lisa, we'll go ahead and wrap up with you and asking to unmute.
Hi, Starshine, great to see you, and I'm excited for your new role.
Thanks, Lisa. It's good to see you too.
Thanks. Quick question. I noticed you have wonderful images. I saw some in your features section. Do you have any good suggestions of where to find images without copyright concerns?
Yeah, there's if you Google free stock photos, there's a lot of sites that do it. Pexels is one, P-E-X-E-L-S. But a lot of paid stock photos advertise under the keywords of free stock photos. So you have to be careful once you get there and you're like, I love this image. And then it's like, great, $30. So to just make sure that they are in fact free. A lot of them ask you to just give credit to the photographer. It's never required. It's just sort of a nice thing to do. That's how I found that one, I think.
Great, thanks so much.
Sure.
Presentation.
Pixvay, Brian says Pixvay and Free Pick. Brian is the master of free stock photos, apparently.
Okay, in the interest of time, I wish we could go a little bit longer. Starshine, I learned so much today. This is, wow.
Let me say too, that if anybody has further questions, you're welcome to contact me on LinkedIn and ask. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. What I'll do is, part of the reason I froze is I was trying to add that PDF, Starshine, the handout. So what I'll do, everybody, is I'll send you all the video and the handouts and the resources probably tomorrow. So make sure and check your email. Last plug I'd like to say is this fantastic webinar is compliments of the Fielding Alumni Association. If you have not joined yet, it is free. Students, faculty, staff, alumni. I put the link in here. There's so many great opportunities and resources here. Anything and everything you need to know about Fielding Alumni, that's the go-to. So make sure and sign in today. Of course, any questions, you all probably know where to reach me. Check your inbox tomorrow. Starshine, this was so much fun. Thank you for sharing this.
So fun to see everyone. Thanks, guys.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Next time.